You know that feeling, right? You sit down at your desk, determined to tackle your most important tasks. You got coffee, snacks, even the perfect playlist queued up. But somehow, 2 hours later, you're down a rabbit hole watching cooking videos on YouTube or scrolling mindlessly through memes again. It's funny, sure, but when you realize how much valuable time you've wasted, it actually hits pretty hard. Here's the truth. Procrastination isn't just harmless distraction. It literally steals time away from your dreams, goals, and the things you genuinely care about. But you're not alone, though. Researchers have found that roughly 95% of us procrastinate regularly, and the average person loses nearly 2 hours every single day putting things off. That's like taking an entire month each year and tossing it straight out the window. But look, don't feel guilty about this. Seriously, I've been there, we've all been there, and today we're going to change that. In this video, I'm going to share the real reasons why your brain chooses instant gratification over productivity. And I'll show you clear, science-backed methods to finally get control over procrastination. By the end, you'll have practical techniques you can actually start using right away to get things done. In simple terms, procrastination is when you intentionally put off something important, even when you know it'll lead to trouble later on. Think of it like this. Your brain sees two choices. Option 1, working hard on something boring or challenging, which pays off eventually. Option 2, instant relief, like checking your phone, watching TikTok, or just taking a nap. And your brain naturally picks option 2 because it feels better right now. Experts call this present bias, and it's completely normal. Scientists have studied this and found that our brains struggle to imagine the future clearly, especially when it means delaying rewards. Princeton University researchers discovered something fascinating. When thinking about our future selves, our brains react almost as if we're thinking about another person entirely. Crazy, right? It's no wonder we so easily prioritize comfort now over long-term goals, because it feels like that future you is someone else's problem. And procrastination isn't just psychological, it's also biological. Your brain releases dopamine, the pleasure chemical, every time you do something enjoyable, even if it's just checking Instagram notifications. This creates a feedback loop. Every notification, every new YouTube video, every snack you grab gives your brain another small hit of pleasure. Over time, your brain learns to chase these quick dopamine hits, making it even harder to buckle down on difficult tasks. But here's the good news. Understanding these basic brain mechanisms gives you a massive advantage. Once you realize that procrastination isn't about laziness, but about your brain seeking immediate comfort, you can use that knowledge to finally break the habit. Understanding exactly why you procrastinate personally makes it way easier to break the cycle. First up is perfectionism or fear of failure. Have you ever had a project or an assignment that was so important or intimidating you kept putting it off because you were worried it wouldn't be good enough? Maybe you've said things like, "I'll start once I have everything perfect," or "I just need to wait until I'm in the right mood." Sounds familiar, right? The truth is, your brain is trying to protect you from feeling inadequate or disappointed. But ironically, putting tasks off only makes the anxiety worse as the deadline creeps closer. Next is overwhelm. You know when your to-do list looks so long it feels almost impossible to know where to begin? Maybe you have an essay, a project, chores around the house, and personal goals all staring at you at the same time. So instead of tackling one small thing, you find yourself stuck, scrolling your feed or binge-watching Netflix, because it feels easier than figuring out how to start. That feeling of overwhelm is actually your brain freezing up, like a computer with too many tabs open at once. And instead of picking one task, your brain defaults to doing nothing. And let's not forget about distractions and poor time management. Look, it's 2025 and distractions are everywhere. Notifications pop up every minute, your phone buzzes constantly, and the internet is literally designed to pull you in and hold you there as long as possible. Combine that with poor planning, like not setting clear deadlines or scheduling tasks effectively, and you have a recipe for constant procrastination. It's not your fault. The world around us is built to keep our attention scattered. The reason understanding these triggers matters so much is because awareness is your first step towards taking back control. Once you clearly see why you're procrastinating, whether it's perfectionism, overwhelm, or constant distractions, you can target the specific issue head-on and finally start seeing real change. I'm about to share 4 straightforward techniques that aren't just random tips. They're actually backed by science and proven to help you become more productive. First up is the Pomodoro technique. Here's how it works. Set a timer for 25 minutes and work on just one task without any interruptions. No checking your phone, no quick snack breaks, nothing else. After 25 minutes, reward yourself with a short 5-minute break. Sounds simple, right? It is. But here's why it actually works. Studies show our brains focus better in short bursts, and regular breaks help refresh your mind and keep motivation high. For example, instead of telling yourself you'll write a whole essay today, just commit to 2 Pomodoro sessions. After those sessions, you'll have done 50 solid minutes of work without feeling burned out. Next is the 2-minute rule, which was popularized by productivity expert James Clear. The rule is incredibly simple. If a task takes 2 minutes or less, just do it immediately. Think about how often you've glanced at an email or a dirty coffee mug and said, I'll get to it later. These small tasks pile up quickly, adding unnecessary stress. By tackling them instantly, like replying to a quick text or tidying your workspace, you build momentum and clear your mental space for bigger tasks. Science backs this too. Small wins signal to your brain that you're productive, boosting your confidence and helping you keep going. Another powerful method is breaking tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. Remember that overwhelming feeling when a project is so big you don't even know how to start? Well, this technique solves that. Say you have a major assignment or report due. Instead of trying to tackle it all at once, split it into tiny, actionable steps, like open the document, write the introduction, or find 3 sources. Suddenly, this massive task isn't intimidating anymore. Your brain loves clear directions and small successes, which is exactly why breaking tasks down works so well. Researchers at Stanford found people who used this method consistently reported less stress and procrastinated far less. And lastly, let's talk about proactively removing distractions. This might sound obvious, but hear me out. Your phone, notifications, social media, all these things are engineered to grab your attention and hold on to it. So instead of relying purely on willpower, which, let's face it, doesn't always work, remove distractions entirely during your work sessions. Put your phone in another room, use apps that block distracting websites, or find a quiet, distraction-free spot to work. The science is clear on this one. Out of sight is truly out of mind. Studies published in the Experimental Psychology Journal confirm that even the mere presence of a smartphone nearby reduces focus dramatically, even if you're not actively checking it. By incorporating these 4 straightforward techniques, the Pomodoro technique, the 2-minute rule, breaking tasks into smaller steps, and proactively removing distractions, you'll start noticing immediate changes in your productivity. Each method is easy to implement, backed by research, and best of all, actually works. All right, we've covered practical tips you can start using immediately, but breaking procrastination is more about changing how you think than about learning techniques or hacks. First, you need to shift from perfectionism to focusing on progress. Many of us procrastinate because deep down, we're scared that what we're working on won't be good enough. Have you ever said to yourself, I'll start once I know exactly how to make this perfect? Or maybe there's no point in doing this unless it turns out great. The truth is, perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. Instead of aiming for perfect, aim for progress. For instance, if you're writing an essay, don't think, this needs to be the best essay ever. Instead, think, today, I'm just going to get 2 pages done. According to psychologist Carol Dweck's famous research on growth mindset, people who focus on improvement rather than perfection actually end up achieving more, feeling happier, and procrastinating far less. Next is adopting self-compassion. Look, everyone messes up, and everyone procrastinates sometimes. But when we procrastinate, we often beat ourselves up, thinking we're lazy or weak. Guess what? This harsh self-criticism only makes you procrastinate even more, creating a vicious cycle. So next time you find yourself avoiding a task, instead of punishing yourself, practice self-compassion. Acknowledge it, be kind to yourself, and gently remind yourself you can try again. Studies led by Dr. Kristen Neff have shown that people who practice self-compassion bounce back faster and procrastinate significantly less over time. For example, if you wasted a whole afternoon scrolling Instagram instead of studying, don't say, I'm hopeless. Instead, say, I slipped up today, but that's okay. I'll do better tomorrow. Lastly, accept that your motivation won't always be consistent, and that's perfectly normal. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Motivation naturally fluctuates. Some days you'll wake up super energized and ready to conquer the world, and other days you'll barely have enough energy to brush your teeth. That's human nature. So instead of relying solely on motivation, rely on routine and discipline, because motivation comes and goes, but habits stick around. For instance, even if you don't feel like studying today, commit at least to 10 minutes. Often, just starting creates momentum, making it easier to continue. Psychologists call this the activation energy effect, meaning the hardest part is getting started, and everything else becomes easier after that first step. Remember, changing your mindset is a journey, not an instant fix. But if you start today, focusing on progress instead of perfection, being kinder to yourself, and understanding motivation naturally varies, you'll notice lasting changes in your productivity and happiness. Sometimes you might still find yourself totally stuck. That's completely normal. It doesn't mean you failed, it just means you're human. But when this happens, it's important to have a clear plan on what to do next so you don't slide right back into procrastination. First, if you're feeling totally stuck, pause for a second and ask yourself honestly, is this task really urgent and is it actually important right now? Sometimes feeling stuck is your brain's way of saying you're overloaded, or maybe you've set expectations too high. Take a minute, step back, and reevaluate what you're trying to accomplish. Maybe you're feeling stuck because you're working on the wrong thing at the wrong time. If that's the case, prioritize your tasks clearly. For example, if you're stuck writing a report that's not due until next week, but you're neglecting something simpler that's due tomorrow, switch your attention to the immediate, easier task. This quick shift can unblock your mind, boost your confidence, and help you regain momentum. Next, try changing your environment, even if just briefly. Sometimes procrastination happens simply because your surroundings have gotten stale or uninspiring. Step away from your desk and go for a short walk, grab a coffee, or just move to another room. Research published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that changing your physical surroundings can refresh your brain, boost creativity, and help you overcome mental blocks. For example, if you've been staring at your laptop for an hour with no progress, step outside for 10 minutes, take some deep breaths, and then come back. Often, that's enough to snap your brain out of procrastination mode. Finally, reach out to someone to hold you accountable. This might seem simple, but it's powerful. Humans are naturally social creatures, and when someone else is expecting us to do something, we're far more likely to follow through. So text a friend or family member and tell them exactly what you're planning to finish today. Even better, ask them to check in on your progress later. Studies show that accountability dramatically increases productivity because it taps into our natural desire not to disappoint others. For example, if you know you'll be tempted to skip studying today, text a friend and say something like, "Hey, I'm going to study for an hour. Check in later to make sure I actually did it." Trust me, you'll be amazed how quickly this small trick can get you moving again. The bottom line? Feeling stuck doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you need a quick reset. Try reevaluating your priorities, changing your environment for a mental reset, or asking someone to hold you accountable. These simple yet powerful steps can quickly get you back on track when nothing else seems to work. So now you've got the full toolkit. Understanding why procrastination happens, recognizing your patterns, using proven methods to get moving, shifting your mindset, and having a backup plan when you stall out. You're clearly ready to stop letting procrastination run your day. So here's your next step. Take one thing you learned in this video, just one, and try it out today. It could be using the Pomodoro technique, breaking down a big task into smaller steps, or even just putting your phone in another room while you work. Start small, but start now. And while you're at it, let me know in the comments, which part of this video hit you the hardest? Was it the perfectionism part, the science behind why our brains delay things, or maybe the quick reset tricks for when you're feeling stuck? I really want to hear your thoughts and your stories because chances are someone else reading the comments is struggling with the exact same thing.